we going to start this thing? Gotta get that up there. I'm not even dressed. It's the first freaking match of the year, and I'm not even dressed for the occasion. Be right back. That's better. Welcome, everybody, to DFR 2. To give you a little bit of an explanation before we actually get into the video, what is DFR? What is this thing I'm watching? Who is this person on my screen? DFR stands for Defiant Fan Reaction. It is inspired by Steve Dangle, who does LFR, or Leafs Fan Reaction, for the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NHL. Thank you, Steve, for the inspiration. Basically, what Steve does is he records a video reacting to every single Leafs game of the season. For me, I decided to start last year. Things got complicated. Life happened. 2020 happened. And I lost motivation to keep going. Not this year. This is DFR 2. I'm starting from scratch. We're going to do it every single match this season. I'm going to be reacting to it. And we're going to start with the Battle of Canada, baby. So first off, map 1, okay? Map 1, this is the start. This is the year. This is the beginning. So much hype going into this season. Brand new team. They got KDG and Sato and Hisu. Oh my. Is this going to work at all? I have no idea. Then, first fight happens. And Sato I've got this, just goes and just runs at the Titans, which is such a fresh change from last year. Last year, the entire Defiant strat seemed to be, let's just wait for them to make a move, and then we capitalize on their move. And this year, Sato's just like, I've got this, and just goes, and everyone has to adapt. Everybody has to adapt. And it's amazing to see the aggression from this team coming out. They are just completely running the game early on against the Titans. Is that expected? A little bit. The Titans are expected to be awful this year. Pretty much everyone predicted them either dead last in NA or second to last in NA. So this isn't really a big test. It's more so to see how everyone looks and how the team synergizes more than it is a can we win this game. The real test is tonight, and I'll get to that at the end of the video. Round 1 looks dominant. It was the use of alts that really blew me away in round 1. Whether it was Sato solo shattering Linkser to avoid the blizzard, whether it was Michelle using his ult to kill Fire the Lucio and instantly winning that fight. Whatever it was pure domination in the first round of Busan. Then the second round hits, and well, realistically, it wasn't as good. The biggest red flags for me seem to be the fact that the team had a lack of communication. Whether it was Lastro using trans on point to get to Bob and then kind of going back and just kind of wasting the ult, to be honest. They weren't connected. If they were more connected, they would have won round 2 easily. Because I don't think that necessarily Linkser outplayed Hisu. I don't even think Dalton really outplayed Nice that much. I think he did, but not by that much. Before we go on to round 3, I have to say, Michelle, this entire match looked amazing. Whether it was the Diva, whether it was the Sigma, whether it was the Zarya, he looked great. And one of the biggest things about this team going into this year was that Michelle was so bad that Seoul had to play their main tank, Marvel, over him in the off-tank position. Seems like Seoul might have been wrong about that. Seems like they might have been wrong about that. Now, that being said, they did get to the grand finals, so, like, were they wrong? Not really, but you know what I mean. I'm saying that doesn't mean Michelle's a bad player. He wasn't awful. It's just that was the decision the coach decided to make. Much like Erster with last year's Atlanta team. Why would you not play Erster? He's incredible. And they just never played him. Maybe it's just a bad coaching choice over the player being bad themselves. Because Michelle, I don't know about you guys, Michelle looked fantastic to me in this game. Hold on 1 second, though. Just need a quick drink. Sada was incredible. This man just smothers his opponents just like the sugar in this drink will smother his veins. Seriously though, be safe, buddy. I'm a little concerned about how much Coke you drink. But moving on, the entire game, Sato just pounded and pounded and pounded. If you looked at the interview at the end of the match, they put up a graphic and it said that he averaged, I think it was 8,250 damage per 10 minutes compared to Shredlock's 5,000. That's main tank diff if I've ever seen one. He was incredible this match. And it wasn't just the fact that he was really good. He was the one in the front going, I don't know if he was shot calling, we don't get that information, but he was the one going in every single time. And he was commanding the play almost every single map he was on. And Hisu, my God, Hisu looked so good on McCree. He didn't get to play a lot of McCree last year on the Fusion. He played a lot of the Sombra, but still, he looked really good on McCree, man. And it was so good to see. He was absolutely devastating. And Lastro honestly looked so good in every aspect on so many different maps. He, besides the trans that I mentioned earlier, he was one of the other standout players for me. To be honest, from the A team, and we'll get to the B team in a second, but the A team, the only one that didn't overly stand out to me was Nice. And even then, he was better than I expected. I was a little iffy on him. A lot of the information that I read up on when it comes to Overwatch League is from Plat Chat. I love them. Shout out to the Plat Chat boys. You're amazing. But, they were saying a lot. This player was good early on, but he's kind of not done well the last few years. So they were a bit skeptical on his performance. It's against the Titans. So, this entire video might be null and void because it's the Titans and the Titans are awful. But at least starting off, it looked really good. It looked really good, and I was super happy with his play. We get to Eichenwald, and Sato just comes in with his wham, and just the entire team. I don't know if it was a 6 or a 5 man. I was too busy cooling myself off and getting up from fainting. That was such a massive shatter. It just truly incredible out of Sato and Eichenwald, and they just did really, really well. Then we get to map 3. Map 3 is a different story entirely. Map 3, they decide, okay, we're winning. We've got this game. Let's put in the B team. And it seems mean to say that. It does seem mean to say that. But let's be honest. It's the B team, guys. I'm sorry. It just is. You don't sub out 3 players and not have it be your B team. You just don't. You just don't. Realistically, they were playing heroes that Sato really was playing, is good at playing anyway. They played the Winston, and Beast's whole thing last year was that he would only play Reinhardt. They didn't trust Numlock on Reinhardt, so Beast was the Reinhardt guy when Numlock was out. Now they got Beast playing Winston? So KDG obviously feels either one, that he's a B team player and that they thought they would get him some minutes, or that they actually trust this guy on Winston. I would be surprised if that's the case, because I'm pretty sure Sato's an amazing Winston, but I'm not the coach of the Toronto Defiant. When it comes to the rest of them, Logix, he looked good. He looked good. Not really standout performance, but he looked good. Aztac was invisible, in my opinion. Just kind of invisible. And then Beast, he had some good plays. Needs improvement. I feel bad for Beast. I just want to put this out here. I feel bad for Beast because I think Beast is a great player, and if he's on a different team, I think he would succeed more. The issue is that Sato is so dominant that when you put him in place of Sato, there's a difference. You notice, because again, the first 2 maps, Sato was controlling. He was pounding. He was the one where you just see him, boom, again, I've got this, just running in, and then Beast comes in and he's not controlling play. He's not the focal point of the Defiant anymore. The main tank position is no longer the focal point of their attack, and it was clear. That being said, the biggest problem was the communication and use of alts. The big one for me, obviously, is the C9, but there was another one where Michelle used Grav in the little tunnel area. There was a few of them in there. He uses Grav, and Beast is with him, and he waits 2 seconds before he uses his Primal, and then because he did that, FRD used his Grav and killed Beast and Michelle. But he didn't have Grav when Michelle used Grav. But Beast had his Primal. So if Beast pops the Primal, he might be able to either get a pick on FRD or at least push them back enough that them using Grav would not have been as effective. Instead, he waits and immediately gets killed. Wasn't a big fan of that. A bunch of alts were really off, in my opinion. There was another part where Beast used Primal and just kind of went around outside. He just kind of flew up by the shuttle. Didn't really do a lot. Wasn't great. Oh, the best part to come out of map 3, by the way, was Mitch calling Logix Logi Bear, because that is his name from now on. That is the title of this video, is Logi Bear. I am exclusively calling Logix Logi Bear from now on. But I do think if Sato was in there, that map might have went a different way. Because I think Hisu had a really good performance. I think Michelle had a really good performance. Lastro played well, but A few of the ults didn't go super well. Maybe if you swap out those players, if you have the A team instead of the B team, maybe that map goes their way. Then we get to Hanamura. Sato, just the second that Sato was in this game, the second he goes into the lobby, you know that the other team is in trouble. And I am so happy to have a player on the Toronto Defiant that other teams are afraid of. Because realistically, the last few rosters, who have people been afraid of? Kariv? I mean, Kariv is fantastic, but like, Sato, besides maybe Fearless, the best main tank last year. And again, he's just inting on Reinhardt, just going. He commands the play. It's incredible to watch him on Hanamura. And I was blown away again because I'm like, oh, okay, they're just a different team again. The B team can work. They just need more practice, I think. But the A team looks good. And I cannot wait to see what they do to the Rain tonight. Because honestly, I think they're going to surprise them. I think they're going to have the Rain on their toes, and I can't wait to see it. When it comes to other players, I also want to bring up Asun J. Asun J looked good. He reminded me of Jexa back on Houston last year, where you would just be looking at the kill feed, and all of a sudden Jexa's got like 2 kills, and you're like, what's new? Like, Asun J was more aggressive than I expected him to be, and really getting picks when you don't expect the Lucio to get a lot of picks, really. It was really awesome to see. I'd love to see his stats, because at least in the kill feed, it looked like he was getting more picks than a Lucio should. And then when it comes to the interview afterwards, when they finally win the Battle of Canada in a beautiful way in Hanamura, it was really nice to see Sato's interview. Sato basically said that it's really nice to be in a new team environment. He's enjoying being on the Defiant, and he's excited for the year. And that's great to hear. I want to hear players be happy, especially after the shitstorm that was last year, where so many players brought up horrible depression from just being in their rooms all day. Just awful times wanting to retire. And a lot of players did retire, including my beautiful boy Haxel. I will miss you so, my friend. But it's great to see him say he's enjoying himself, and it's great to see all the players in the same room together. I feel like that was such an underrated part of 2020, is that a lot of teams didn't have that aspect, and the Shock did, and the Shock slapped because of it. I think it could really benefit the Defiant, the fact that they are all together this year. I cannot wait to see what they have in store for us. And lastly, the nice thing about the interview too was that he brought up the fact that having KDG and Hisu coming over from Philly actually made it a smooth transition and a lot easier to transition between teams, which is awesome to hear. He's basically saying that they're going to try to play like the Fusion and just put in the new players. Well, so far, it's looked like it's working, but we'll see how they play tonight against the Atlanta Reign. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and check out our other videos. This is the Snick Games channel, so we have my beautiful fiance and I. We stream 3 times a week. We're going to get back into it. I know it's been rough. 2021 has been a hard year for everyone too. I do a podcast, the Iggy and Billy Pod. I will put links to that up above as well. And in general, if you want to watch some of my older Overwatch League content, I will put that up as well. It's on a separate channel, but we're putting it here on Snick Games because that's where all our content's going to be for this year. So here is to a great 2021 season. I cannot wait for tonight's game against the Atlanta Reign. And lastly, here's to Sato. God, how do you play that, Sato? I imagine Sato mid-game just diva. Like, God, I can't even record a video with drinking Coke without barping. I got a bet on the jersey.